2,500 years ago, in the chaotic and blood-soaked era of ancient China known as the Warring States period, a military general and philosopher wrote a manuscript that would outlive empires, outlast dynasties, and become the ultimate blueprint for human strategy. His name was Sun Tzu, and his book, The Art of War, is not merely a manual for battlefield combat. It is a profound philosophical treatise on conflict, competition, psychology, and the ultimate mastery of human dynamics. Today, we are going to dive deeper into this masterpiece than ever before. We are not just skimming the surface of its famous quotes. We are going to dissect every single one of its 13 chapters, uncover the historical context behind its wisdom, and translate its ancient battlefield tactics into modern strategies for business, leadership, and life. The art of war is built on a single, foundational paradox. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. If you understand this one concept, you understand the entire book. Sun Tzu teaches us that true power does not come from brute force, endless resources, or sheer aggression. True power comes from positioning, psychology, timing, and the meticulous calculation of advantage before the first move is even made. Let us begin with Chapter 1, Laying Plans. Sun Tzu states that war is a matter of vital importance to the state, the province of life or death, the road to survival or ruin. Therefore, it is mandatory that it be thoroughly studied. He introduces 5 fundamental factors that must be considered when deliberating on military matters: the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, and method and discipline. The moral law refers to the alignment between the people and their leaders. In a modern context, this is your company culture, your brand mission, and the trust your team has in your vision. If your team does not believe in the why behind what you are doing, no amount of tactical brilliance will save you. Heaven and earth represent the external environment, the market conditions, the economic climate, the timing, and the physical or digital landscape you are operating in. The commander represents the leader's virtues: wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strictness. And method and discipline represent your logistics, your supply chains, your organizational hierarchy, and your operational efficiency. Before you launch a product, start a business, or enter a negotiation, you must analyze these 5 factors. If your moral law is weak, your culture is toxic. If you ignore heaven and earth, you are launching a winter coat in the middle of summer. If the commander lacks courage or wisdom, the ship will sink. And without method and discipline, your brilliant ideas will never be executed properly. Strategy begins with this deep, unflinching self-assessment and environmental analysis. This leads us perfectly into Chapter 2, Waging War. Here, Sun Tzu shifts from the philosophy of planning to the brutal economics of conflict. He explains that in the operations of war, where there are 100,000 troops, the cost to the state is enormous. Prolonged warfare drains the treasury, exhausts the people, and leaves the state vulnerable to other predators. Therefore, the greatest sin in war is delay. Speed is the essence of war. In the business world, this is the concept of burn rate and market timing. When you engage in a price war, a prolonged legal battle, or a drawn-out product development cycle, you are waging war. Every day you spend in this state consumes capital, drains your team's morale, and distracts you from innovation. Sun Tzu warns that there is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare. Similarly, there is no company that benefits from a prolonged, grinding battle of attrition. If you must fight, you must end it quickly. You must secure a decisive victory. If you find yourself in a protracted conflict, whether it is a dispute with a co-founder, a battle with a competitor, or a struggle to fix a broken product, you are losing money and momentum. The goal is to achieve your objective with maximum speed and minimum expenditure of resources. Chapter 3, Attack by Stratagem, is where Sun Tzu introduces his most famous and profound strategic hierarchy. He states that the highest form of generalship is to balk the enemy's plans. The next best is to prevent the junction of the enemy's forces. The next in order is to attack the enemy's army in the field. And the worst policy of all is to besiege walled cities. Let us translate this into modern strategy. Balk the enemy's plans means you disrupt your competitor's strategy before they can even execute it. You innovate so rapidly that their upcoming product launch becomes obsolete before it hits the shelves. You secure exclusive partnerships or patents that block their path. Preventing the junction of the enemy's forces means you isolate your competitors. You prevent them from forming alliances, merging with other companies, or pooling their resources against you. Attacking the enemy's army in the field is direct competition. This is where you meet them head-on in the market, fighting for the same customers with similar products. It is costly, it is risky, and it is difficult. But the absolute worst policy, besieging walled cities, represents a war of attrition against a fortified position. In business, this is trying to steal market share from a deeply entrenched monopoly by simply outspending them on advertising. It is a grinding, bloody, expensive siege that will likely bankrupt you before you breach their walls. Sun Tzu teaches us to win without fighting whenever possible. The supreme art of war is to take the enemy's country whole and intact, not to shatter and destroy it. In business, the ultimate victory is not to destroy your competitor, but to render them irrelevant by changing the rules of the game entirely. You do not beat the taxi industry by building a better taxi company, you beat them by inventing ride-sharing. You do not beat the hotel industry by building better hotels, you build a platform for home sharing. You attack the strategy, not the army. Chapter 4, Tactical Dispositions, focuses on the concepts of invincibility and vulnerability. Sun Tzu explains that the good fighters of old first put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat, and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy. To secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands, but the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. This is a masterclass in risk management and patience. You cannot force a victory. You can only prepare for it. You build your defenses, you strengthen your balance sheet, you train your team, you perfect your product, and you eliminate your weaknesses. You make yourself invincible. Then, you wait. You watch the market. You watch your competitors. Eventually, they will make a mistake. They will overextend, they will ignore a shifting customer need, they will suffer a PR crisis, or they will run out of cash. When that moment of vulnerability appears, you strike with overwhelming force. Many modern entrepreneurs and leaders fail because they try to force a victory before they have secured their own invincibility. They launch prematurely, they scale before they have product market fit, they attack a competitor before they have the resources to sustain the fight. Sun Tzu teaches us that victory is the result of superior preparation meeting a moment of enemy weakness. You build the moat around your castle, and then you wait for the enemy to fall into it. This brings us to Chapter 5, Energy, or the use of the direct and the indirect. Sun Tzu explains that in battle, there are only two types of forces, the direct, or orthodox, and the indirect, or unorthodox. Yet, the combinations of these two are endless. He uses the metaphor of a circle, which has no beginning and no end. In modern strategy, the direct force is your standard operating procedure. It is your core product, your baseline marketing, your reliable supply chain. It is what you do every day to maintain your position. The indirect force is your innovation, your surprise marketing campaign, your pivot, your secret weapon. If you only use direct force, you become predictable, rigid, and easily countered. If you only use indirect force, you become chaotic, unstable, and lacking a solid foundation. The master strategist seamlessly blends the two. You use your direct force to engage the market, to hold the line, and to generate steady revenue. Simultaneously, you use your indirect force to flank the competition, to disrupt the market, and to create new opportunities. Think of a football team. The running game is the direct force. It grinds out yards, controls the clock, and keeps the defense honest. The passing game is the indirect force. It strikes quickly, covers large distances, and creates explosive plays. A great coach uses the direct force to set up the indirect force. In business, your reliable, legacy product is your direct force. It funds your research and development, your indirect force, which eventually becomes the next legacy product. The interplay between the standard and the surprising is the engine of all strategic momentum. Chapter 6, Weak Points and Strong, is perhaps the most poetic and philosophical chapter of the entire book. Sun Tzu compares military tactics to water. Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. The soldier works out his victory in relation to the foe whom he is facing. Just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. This is the doctrine of absolute adaptability. You must be formless. If you are formless, the enemy cannot analyze you, cannot predict you, and cannot target you. You must strike at the enemy's weak points and avoid their strong points. You do not attack the mountain, you flow around it. You do not attack the shield, you strike the unarmored joint. In the market, this means you do not attack a competitor where they are strongest. If a competitor is known for low prices, you do not try to beat them on price. You attack them on quality, on customer service, on brand prestige, or on user experience. You find the gap in their armor. You look for the customer segment they are ignoring, the feature they have neglected, the demographic they have alienated. Furthermore, you must constantly shift your own form. If you find a successful strategy, your competitors will copy it. If you remain static, they will catch up. You must constantly evolve, pivot, and adapt to the changing landscape. The ultimate strategic advantage is not a specific product or a specific tactic. It is the organizational agility to change faster than the competition can react. Chapter 7, Maneuvering, deals with the difficulty of moving an army and turning the devious into the direct. Sun Tzu explains that the difficulty of tactical maneuvering consists in turning the devious route into the most direct route. This means you must take a longer, more complex path to achieve your goal, but you must do it in such a way that you arrive before the enemy. This requires deception and misdirection. You must show the enemy that you are far away, when in fact you are near. You must bait them with the prospect of gain, and then strike them when they are off guard. In business, this is the art of the stealth launch, the fake out, and the strategic pivot. Sometimes, the most direct route to your goal is blocked by a massive competitor or a regulatory hurdle. You cannot go straight through. Instead, you take a devious route. You might start by targeting a niche market that the giants ignore, build your resources there, and then use that base to attack the mainstream market. You appear to be a small, harmless player in a peripheral industry, while secretly building the infrastructure to dominate the core industry. You turn the long, winding road into a shortcut by outmaneuvering the competition's expectations. Chapter 8, Variation in Tactics, is a crucial warning about the psychological pitfalls of leadership. Sun Tzu lists 5 dangerous faults that may affect a general. The first is recklessness, which leads to destruction. The second is cowardice, which leads to capture. The third is a hasty temper, which can be provoked by insults. The fourth is a delicacy of honor, which is sensitive to shame. The fifth is over-solicitude for his men, which exposes him to worry and trouble. These 5 faults are the exact reasons why brilliant leaders fail. Recklessness is the entrepreneur who bets the entire company on a single, unproven product. Cowardice is the CEO who refuses to make necessary layoffs or pivot a failing strategy because they are afraid of short-term pain. A hasty temper is the leader who makes impulsive, emotional decisions based on a competitor's insult or a bad press article. A delicacy of honor is the leader who cannot admit a mistake, who doubles down on a failing strategy to save face. And over-solicitude for his men is the manager who cannot hold their team accountable, who avoids difficult conversations, and who lets poor performance slide because they want to be liked. Sun Tzu teaches us that a leader must be emotionally detached from the ego of the battle. You must be cold, calculating, and objective. You must be willing to take risks, but not reckless ones. You must be cautious, but not cowardly. You must care for your team, but you must not let your affection compromise the mission. True leadership requires the mastery of one's own psychological weaknesses. Chapter 9, The Army on the March, shifts the focus to reading the environment and judging the enemy. Sun Tzu provides a detailed list of signs to look for in the terrain and in the behavior of the opposing army. If the enemy soldiers stand leaning on their spears, they are faint from want of food. If the birds gather, the spot is empty. If the enemy's messengers speak humbly but the troops are preparing for battle, they will advance. If they speak boastfully and drive their troops forward aggressively, they will retreat. This is the ancient equivalent of market intelligence, data analytics, and competitor analysis. Sun Tzu is teaching us to look beyond the surface-level rhetoric and observe the actual behavior of the market. A competitor might issue a press release boasting about their new funding and aggressive expansion, but if you look closely at their job postings, their supply chain delays, and the turnover rate of their executives, you might see that they are actually in a desperate retreat. You must become a master observer. You must read the subtle signals in your industry. You must look at the data, not just the PR. When the market is quiet, it might be gathering strength. When the market is loud and chaotic, it might be on the verge of collapse. The leader who can accurately read the subtle signs of the environment will always have a decisive advantage over the leader who only looks at the obvious. Chapter 10, Terrain, categorizes the physical landscape into 6 types: accessible, entangling, temporizing, narrow passes, precipitous heights, and positions at a great distance. For each type of terrain, Sun Tzu provides specific tactical instructions on how to position your army and how to engage the enemy. In business, terrain represents the market landscape you are operating in. Accessible terrain is a wide-open, blue ocean market where both you and your competitors can operate freely. In this terrain, you must secure the high ground, meaning you must establish strong brand recognition and customer loyalty first. Entangling terrain is a complex, highly regulated, or technologically difficult market. If you enter it, you must be fully committed, because retreating will be costly. Temporizing terrain is a market where both sides are hesitant to make the first move, like a price war where neither side wants to blink. In this terrain, do not be baited into attacking. Maintain your position and wait for the enemy to exhaust themselves. Narrow passes represent niche markets or bottlenecks in the supply chain. If you occupy a narrow pass, you must block it completely and wait for the enemy. If the enemy occupies it first, do not attack them head-on, find another route. Precipitous heights represent the high ground of technology, premium branding, or network effects. If you secure the high ground, you have a massive advantage. If the enemy has it, do not attack uphill, lure them down to your level. Understanding the terrain of your specific industry is vital. You cannot use the same strategy in a highly regulated, slow-moving industry as you would in a fast-paced, digital startup ecosystem. You must assess the landscape and adapt your tactics to the specific contours of the market. Chapter 11, The 9 Situations, is a deep dive into the psychology of teams and the different stages of a campaign. Sun Tzu describes 9 distinct situations an army can find itself in, ranging from dispersive ground, where soldiers are fighting near their homes and likely to desert, to desperate ground, where there is no escape and the soldiers will fight to the death. This is a profound lesson in change management and team psychology. When your team is on dispersive ground, meaning they are comfortable, working on familiar projects, and not feeling any real pressure, they will not give you their maximum effort. You must unify their purpose and create a compelling vision to keep them engaged. When you are on serious ground, meaning you have penetrated deep into a new market and are far from your core competencies, you must ensure your supply lines are secure and your team is fully supported. But the most powerful psychological state is desperate ground. Sun Tzu says, "Throw your soldiers into positions whence there is no escape, and they will prefer death to flight." In business, this is the concept of burning the boats. When a team has no safety net, no fallback plan, and no option to retreat, they tap into a reservoir of creativity, resilience, and effort that they didn't know they possessed. Many great companies were born out of desperation, when the founders had no other choice but to succeed. As a leader, you must understand the psychological state of your team in any given situation. You must know when to offer comfort and stability, and when to remove the safety net and force them to rise to the occasion. Chapter 12, The Attack by Fire, discusses the use of weapons and the environment to destroy the enemy. Sun Tzu details 5 ways of attacking with fire: burning soldiers, burning stores, burning baggage trains, burning arsenals, and dropping fire into the enemy's camp. But more importantly, he emphasizes that fire attacks require the right conditions. You need the dry season, the right wind, and the proper preparation. Metaphorically, attacking with fire means leveraging external forces, macro trends, and environmental shifts to destroy your competition. You do not just rely on your own internal strength, you use the wind of the market to fan your flames. This could be a shift in consumer behavior, a new government regulation, a technological breakthrough, or a macroeconomic downturn. When the environment is favorable, you strike with overwhelming, destructive force. You do not hold back. But Sun Tzu also warns against acting out of anger or annoyance. A ruler should not mobilize his army out of rage, and a general should not engage in battle out of pique. Anger can change to joy, and annoyance can change to cheerfulness, but a kingdom that has been destroyed can never be restored, and the dead cannot be brought back to life. This is a vital lesson in emotional intelligence and strategic patience. Never make a massive, irreversible strategic decision based on a temporary emotional reaction. Do not launch a retaliatory product just because a competitor insulted you. Do not acquire a company just because you are angry about losing a deal. Wait for the wind to blow in your favor, prepare your fire, and strike only when it serves the ultimate, rational objective. Finally, we arrive at Chapter 13, The Use of Spies. Sun Tzu concludes his masterpiece by emphasizing that foreknowledge cannot be gotten from ghosts and spirits, cannot be obtained inductively from experience, nor by any deductive calculation. Knowledge of the enemy's dispositions can only be obtained from other men. Intelligence is the lifeblood of strategy. Sun Tzu categorizes spies into 5 types: local spies, inward spies, converted spies, doomed spies, and surviving spies. Local spies are people in the enemy's environment who give you information. Inward spies are officials within the enemy's organization who feed you secrets. Converted spies are enemy spies that you have caught and turned to work for you. Doomed spies are those you give false information to, knowing they will be caught and executed by the enemy, thereby feeding the enemy false intelligence. Surviving spies are those who bring back the news. In the modern world, this translates to market research, data analytics, competitive intelligence, and human networking. You must have your fingers on the pulse of your industry. You need to know what your competitors are planning before they announce it. You need to understand the shifting desires of your customers before they even articulate them. But Sun Tzu adds a crucial caveat: the use of spies requires the highest level of trust and the greatest rewards. You cannot treat your intelligence gatherers poorly. You must be subtle, secretive, and generous. If your intelligence is flawed, your entire strategy will collapse. You cannot build a strategy on assumptions, you must build it on verified, actionable intelligence. The leader who knows the enemy and knows themselves will not be imperiled in 100 battles. As we reach the end of this deep journey through the art of war, we must synthesize its ultimate message. Sun Tzu did not write a book about how to love war. He wrote a book about how to end it. He wrote a book about how to navigate a world filled with conflict, scarcity, and human ego, and emerge victorious with the least amount of destruction possible. The art of war teaches us that victory is not an event, it is a process. It is the result of meticulous planning, deep self-awareness, absolute adaptability, and the psychological mastery of oneself and others. It teaches us to avoid direct, grinding conflicts whenever possible, and to seek the indirect path of least resistance. It teaches us to be like water, flowing around obstacles, striking at weak points, and adapting to the shape of the container we are in. Whether you are leading a multinational corporation, building a small startup, navigating a difficult negotiation, or simply trying to master your own daily habits, the principles of Sun Tzu apply. Assess your terrain. Know your enemy. Know yourself. Secure your invincibility. Wait for the opportunity. And when the moment comes, strike with speed, precision, and overwhelming force. The battlefield has changed. The weapons have changed. But human nature has not. The dynamics of power, fear, ego, and strategy remain exactly the same as they were 2,500 years ago. Master these dynamics, and you will not just survive the conflicts of the modern world. You will dictate the terms of victory. Thank you for listening to this deep dive into the art of war. If this wisdom resonated with you, if it challenged your perspective on strategy and leadership, make sure to engage with this content. Share your thoughts, share your own experiences with these principles, and continue to seek knowledge. For in the realm of strategy, the mind is the ultimate weapon, and learning is the ultimate victory.